Hi everyone, we are going to be doing pistachio wedding cookies today. They're kind of like a shortbread cookie with a pistachio flavoring in them. Very simple recipe. It's only, I think there's like 5 ingredients in the recipe. Just a little note, to find pistachio pudding that goes in the recipe, I found it at Stop and Shop in Dayville. And if you keep your eyes on the grocery stores, you'll be able to find it in the pudding section of your local grocery store. Okay, so to start, we're going to cream the butter. So I'm going to do 2 sticks of butter, which is 1 cup. I really think you need to use butter in this recipe. I don't think there's any substitutions for butter in a shortbread cookie. I don't think I've ever used shortening in a shortbread cookie at all, even though it says short in shortbread. I've never used shortening. I suppose you could probably try it if you're desperate and you have no butter at all, but I've noticed that butter is more available in the stores now. So the ingredients are 2 cups of butter. There's 1 1/4 cups of confectioner's sugar. There's a 1 3/4 cup of flour and 2 teaspoons of vanilla. And then we will be adding 1 pudding mix, which is pistachio flavored, and it is 3.4 ounce, so it's a smaller size one. Okay, so first step, cream the butter. So I'm going to start with that. I'm going to do it till it's a little bit fluffy. I softened it ahead of time and made it so it was nice and ready. I'm going to do a little bit more. Then I'm going to add 1/2 cup of confectioner's sugar. Now, the recipe calls for 1/2 cup now, and we're going to use well, I guess it must be 3/4 cup later to dip the cookies into the sugar. So start with that. So you're going to mix it with a blender till it's light and fluffy. I am going to put down the lighting a little bit because I feel like no, you can't see it with this lighting. Anyway, it's nice and fluffy. Okay, sorry to leave the screen. All right, so that's that. And now we're going to add the vanilla. Now I thought with pistachio that almond extract would work too. And maybe next time when I try the recipe, I'll do it with that. But for now, I'm just going to add 2 teaspoons of vanilla. And like I said before, 100% vanilla extract, no imitation. Okay, that's 2 teaspoons. So I'm going to whip that up. And then after that, I'm adding the flour and the pudding. Okay, so that's nice and creamy. It's got a little bit more color to it. And what they ask you to do is put 1 3/4 cups of flour in the bowl ahead of time. And then add the pistachio pudding. Now, if you don't like pistachio flavoring, this would not be the recipe for you. But you know, I almost feel like you could probably use vanilla pudding in this recipe and see how it comes out. Now, pistachio adds a little bit of sweetness, a little bit of saltiness, but there's no salt in this recipe, so it must be in the pudding mix. Okay, so I'm going to add that in little by little. And after I do that, I'm going to form the dough into a ball, and I'm going to put it in the fridge for an hour to cool, to get more solid. So I put half the mixture in. I'm going to scrape the sides. Now I told you before that I don't usually like to use a blender this recipe, I'm going to start out by blending it that way. It'll get really thick and it'll be hard to blend with the blender, so I'm going to add it in with a spoon after. Okay, so that's that. It has kind of a weird color. It's kind of a light green. I'm going to add the rest of the flour and pudding mixture. I'm going to incorporate that, blend it. Now, like I said before, I'm going to be putting it in the fridge to get a little bit more solid and easier to work with. And after I do that, I'll be forming it into balls and cooking it in the oven. And then when you take them out of the oven, you are supposed to dip them in powdered sugar. And if you have pistachios on hand, I think pistachio in the center of each one would be great. Unfortunately, I don't have any pistachios on hand right now. So I am going to, it looks like it's all mixed up pretty well. And it has an interesting smell to it. You know, and the pistachio pudding actually has the nuts in it. So if you have a nut allergy, this may not be good for you either. But I figured you probably knew that since pistachios are nuts. Okay, so we're gonna take that. It's nice and fluffy. I feel like I could form the balls right now if I wanted to, but I will follow the directions. And what I'll do is I'll form it into balls. Oh yeah, it is pretty soft. It's probably too hard to work with right now. Oh, and I got flour on my shirt. I always do. So you see, it's got a nice green color to it. So what I'll do is I'll take some out, I'll put them on the sheet, I'll cook some, I'll bring them back, and then we'll take a look to see how they look. So I'll see you back in about an hour to finish the video. Thanks. Hi, welcome back. I am just about to take my cookies out of the oven. What I did was I put them in the fridge for about an hour to let them get more solid so I can form the balls. So I formed balls with my batter by teaspoonful, and each one I indented with the top of the spoon, and then I put it on the cookie sheet and then indented with the top of the spoon. I preheated my oven to 350 and I cooked them for about 8 minutes. There they are, slightly green, beautiful. So after you take them out of the oven, you have to let them cool for about 3 minutes or a little bit less, a little bit more. You dip them in the powdered sugar and that's it. And you let them dry, let them cool off a little bit longer, and then they're ready to serve. I have a finished bowl of the lovely cookies right here. I like the powdered sugar effect, although it's quite messy. I know people don't like to have powdered sugar all over them. In fact, I still have powdered sugar on me. It adds that little specialness to it. Now you could also put a pistachio in the middle. That would look nice. And I think this is traditional for the pistachio wedding cookies, but you could add a pistachio if you'd like. You could also take a little bit of a glaze, which I made with a little bit of powdered sugar and a little almond extract and a little bit of water. And you can also glaze your cookies with that. So I'm gonna do one cookie like that to see how it comes out. Ooh, that looks pretty good. And I will add a little bit of green sprinkles on top. And there's this one. You can see that. It looks pretty good. I know my grandson likes to have frosting on everything, so he'll eat it, be more likely to eat it if it has frosting on it. I know it's kind of a strange thing. He kind of takes after his grandma that way. Anyway, so that's one way to do it. But like I said before, you would let them cool off a little bit. And you would take your cookies and kind of just roll it around in the powdered sugar. You can do it with your hands if you have clean hands, or you can do it with a spatula, whichever you prefer. And see, I kind of just dipped it around in that powdered sugar, and it has a nice powdered sugar coat, kind of like a Dunkin' Munchkin, and it does look a little bit brown down the edges, which is fine. And these will keep in the fridge for a while, or you can put them in an airtight container at room temperature and cool them off first, of course, and then put them in an airtight container, and they should last for a while. I feel like shortbread cookies last a lot longer than some other cookies because maybe it's because there's no eggs in it. I'm not really sure, but they're so dense that they last a little bit longer. So I did try one already, but I will take another taste for you guys. And see, it has that nice green color to it, if you can see that. It's really good. Very rich, but very delicious. I think anyone you serve them to is going to love them. Thank you so much for joining me in Allison's kitchen. And I hope you come back again sometime soon to join me again. Also, if you try the recipe, make sure you share it on our Facebook page along with my original post so we can see how yours came out and see your take on it. So like I said, you can do the powdered sugar, the traditional. You can add a little frosting if you'd like with a little bit of jimmies on top or a little bit of sprinkles on top. Whatever you like. So anyway, thanks so much for coming today to Allison's Kitchen, and I hope you come back again soon. And have a great day, everyone.